established rich coming right back at you. Somewhere along the way, pain became content. That's the first thing that came to my mind watching this old Kevin Hart, George Floyd, and roast controversy that exploded online. Because whether people want to admit it or not, there are certain names in America that no longer feel human to the internet. They feel like symbols, they feel like memes, they feel like viral moments waiting to happen. And George Floyd has become one of those names. That's the part that's been bothering me. Not just the joke itself, but how comfortable people have become turning that man's death into entertainment.
You know, Kevin, they told me not to mention your kids on this roast, but I must say, you did good. They've gotten so big, they now buckle Kevin up in the car seat. It's true, he lost his gig hosting the Academy Awards because of some homophobic tweets, but you'd be homophobic too if you were eye level with everyone's cock. He got into a fist fight on a private plane, proof that no matter how much money black people have, they're still just gonna act like ninjas. Always fighting. Like Bill Cosby, Hart is a black comedian from Philadelphia, and like Bill Cosby, women don't know when Kevin is inside of them. You've done good though, Kevin. The black community is so proud of you. Right now, George Floyd is looking up at us all, laughing so hard that he can't breathe. God bless you, Kevin. God bless this room. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Now, first things first, I understand comedy is supposed to push limits. I understand the roast is built around shock value. And I understand that comedians believe nothing should be off limits. That's been the argument forever. But there's also a difference between being edgy and knowing what button to push to go viral. And that's what this feels like to me. This felt less like genius comedy and more like somebody knowing exactly what name to say to guarantee the internet would explode. Because whoever this comedian was, most people didn't even know his name before this. Now everybody know who he is. That's how this game works now. Outrage is marketing. And the faster people understand that, the faster they'll stop being surprised every time somebody uses a controversial black tragedy to go viral. That's the era we live in now. And see, this is where the conversation gets complicated for Kevin Hart. Because people keep asking, why was Kevin laughing? But I think people gotta be fair. He was hosting a roast. Everybody in that room probably was laughing off instinct, off pressure, off of just being in the moment. That don't mean Kevin Hart personally agrees with the joke. That's too easy to say. And sometimes I think the internet wants a perfect moral reaction in real time from people who are live on stage in front of cameras. Now, should Kevin have addressed it afterwards? Probably. That's a different conversation. But I don't think it's fair to sit there and act like Kevin Hart knew exactly what this man was going to say. I think that's a reach.
One thing about it, you can't tell people what to be offended by and what not to be offended by. Everybody laughing until it's their family member that get murdered. Then it ain't funny. Then it ain't funny when it's your family member. It's funny when it's everybody else's family member, and it's cool when it's everybody else's family member. When it come to your doorstep, you want everybody to feel a certain way. See, I rode for my brother. Didn't take a dime from nobody. Risked everything I had going on in real time. No cap, no lies. 29 different states marching for my brother. Didn't take a dime from nobody. Every dime they tried to pay me, me and Q gave back to the community. Wherever we went, we gave it back. So you can't tell people that risk things and that really love somebody to feel a certain way when he's disrespected. Clown shit. Y'all keep laughing though.
Now see, this right here is the other side of pain. Because for people who were actually close to George Floyd, who knew him, for people who still deal with the emotional weight of his death, these jokes don't feel edgy. They feel disrespectful. And whether people like it or not, George Floyd's death wasn't just some random internet moment. That was a real human being whose death shocked the world. People marched over it, cried over it, lost their minds watching the video of it. And sometimes I think the internet moves so fast that they forget that there's still family members attached to this. There's still a daughter attached to that name. There's people who gotta relive this every time his name gets turned into a punchline. That's why this hits different for some people. And another thing I've been thinking about, why does George Floyd keep becoming the safe target for a viral joke? That's the question nobody really want to ask. Because every year, it feels like somebody new pops up using his name for attention. Rappers, podcasters, streamers, comedians, somebody always finds a way to bring him up for shock value. And the reason they keep doing it is simple. It works. The internet rewards it. That's just the truth. The moment you say something controversial about George Floyd, you go viral. The blog start posting it, and then the arguments start happening. your name starts trending, and in the attention economy, bad publicity still pays. That's why people keep pushing the line further and further.
What up, y'all? All right, I'm gonna say this, right? You know, I end up catching up and watching a Kevin Hart roast. What I am annoyed by, and I'm just keeping it 100, y'all. I don't understand. Like, it's one thing to roast the people that's there. It's one thing to roast the people that may be in the audience there. Roasting somebody that, number one, is dead. Number two, that's not there. Number three, that the implications of why you should joke about that. Like Tony Hinchcliffe joke about George Floyd didn't make sense to me. It was no reason to bring George Floyd into this. You know, it just was disgusting. And I do feel a certain way that the audience was okay booing Draymond Green every time his name was mentioned, or just, you know, so y'all could boo. We know people was booing in there, but you don't boo Tony Hinchcliffe right after that. I'm starting to understand, and I get it, man, and I'm okay with not being a part of a lot of this cliquey bull that's in comedy or in our business that some of y'all may think I'm a part of, but I'm not. I 100% would have booed that mother and probably walked out. That's all I'm saying. Come on, y'all. Like, I do think times we are, like, too sensitive about certain things. Why we just can't agree that bringing up George Floyd and the way he did it was just f***ed up and not funny and not needed. It wasn't even needed.
And this is the part of the conversation I think people are afraid to say out loud. Sometimes people hide behind comedy to say something messed up without having to take accountability. Now again, I'm not saying comedians can't be offensive. That's part of the art form. But just because you can say something don't make it automatically brilliant. That's the difference. And when people question the joke, it don't mean they can't take humor. Sometimes it means they think the joke was unnecessary. People keep acting like black pain is public property. That's what this really feels like sometimes. Like certain traumas inside the black community get turned into open mic material way faster than any other type of pain. And people notice that. That's why some folks start bringing up, would y'all make these same type of jokes about other communities? That's where the anger keeps coming from. Because people feel like George Floyd has been reduced to a symbol that people use when they want to go viral. And that's a dog place for this culture to get into.
Good. What up, girl?
You look fantastic.
She ready.
You look so good. So you have like 30 seconds to chat really quick?
Yeah.
So talking about Kevin Hart roast, right?
Yes, it was so much fun.
So Lonnie Love didn't think so. Lonnie Love was like, you know what? It's exhausting. It's edgy. Specifically about the George Floyd joke. What are you thinking? Is it just comedy? Should they have been a little less...
I think it should have been shorter. The show was too long.
Okay.
I mean, I was sitting there the whole time. I had to pee. I didn't hear the George Floyd joke because I had to pee so bad.
So you went to the bathroom with that?
I was a glorified seat filler, and I was tired.
Well, also, I mean, Lonnie and other people were like, oh, maybe it was a little too racially motivated. What do you think as far as like the jokes? Is this just comedy, or are people taking it too seriously?
Is this all comedians saying it that wasn't invited?
Thanks, Miss Haddish.
Now, this was a terrible response. Not necessarily because Tiffany Haddish agreed with the joke, but because she tried to joke her way out of a serious conversation. Sometimes no comment is a smarter move. Because you saying people mad they wasn't invited, that completely missed why people were upset in the first place. This was not about people wanting to attend a Hollywood roast. This was about people feeling like black trauma keeps getting turned into entertainment for elite rooms. That's a different conversation. And this is where I think the Hollywood criticism starts coming in. Because a lot of people believe that once certain black celebrities get into those spaces, they start prioritizing comfort over principles. Now, do I think every black celebrity is a sellout? No. The internet loves using that word too much, but I do think there's real pressure in those rooms. Pressure to fit in, pressure to play along, pressure not to kill the energy, pressure not to get too serious. And sometimes that pressure makes people laugh at things they probably wouldn't laugh at privately. Now, as far as the conspiracy theories about Kevin Hart selling his name and all that, I'm not gonna go too deep into that. Because once people start talking about humiliation rituals and secret corporate ownership of identities, it can pull the conversation away from the real issue. The real issue is that viral culture has created an environment where nothing feels sacred anymore. That's the real problem. Everything's content, a joke, or opportunity to trend. And after a while, people stop seeing human beings inside these stories.
Yesterday, I had a conversation with Terrence Floyd. He is the brother of George Floyd, and he was responding to the Tony Hinchcliffe joke that was told at the Kevin Hart roast about George Floyd. He believes Kevin Hart should have spoke up. Let's take a listen.
My thing with Kevin, and I'm a fan, I feel like my family and their friends, they said, it should responded right then and there, like, well, wait, hold up. Because I remember Kevin Hart and a few other celebrities was at the Minnesota funeral. In that respect, me watching some clips of certain other jokes, a lot of it just felt it wasn't tasteful.
Now, Terrence Floyd also talks about Gianna Floyd, who is the daughter of George Floyd, and how she deals with these moments and the jokes and how it comes back on her. Let's take a listen. One of the other things that they mentioned was like Gianna and George Floyd's daughter, your niece, being teased in school and how stuff like this doesn't help. Like, does she get direct response from things like this because they're so viral? She's getting older now.
She was 6 when this happened. She's 12 now. Well, I was talking to Travis yesterday. We realized something always is talked about or happen, or somebody say something or bring up controversy or whatever around my brother's name when it's nearing the anniversary of his death. It happened with this. It happened with Charlie Kirk. It happened with Lil Yachty. We say keep saying his name, but we don't want this narrative. This is crazy. We upset, but I'm focusing more on the well-being of my niece.
Oh, yeah, the death anniversary is May 25th.
Yes, yeah. Yes, it is May 25th. Now, he also talked about a part of the joke where Tony Hinchcliffe says to Kevin Hart that George Floyd is looking up at him. Let's take a listen to Terrence Floyd on that.
It was a part in there where we always say, my brother looking down on us because we talking positive. The fact that he said that he's looking up, we were stuck on that. When we heard it, we was like, he's looking up. Looking up from where? Are you trying to say he's in hell? So this is not what comedy is supposed to do. It's not supposed to have us thinking about what you meant. What you meant? Oh, we supposed to laugh to heal.
Now this right here is the part people need to sit with for a minute. Because when the internet moves on to the next joke, the next clip, the next outrage, the family never gets to move on that easy. They got to keep seeing his name resurface over and over and over again. And not always in a respectful way. That's exhausting for people. Imagine losing somebody you love. Then every year, watching their name get turned into a punchline for viral moments. That's gotta hurt. And that's the part that I think people need to start remembering more. You don't have to turn every tragedy into a joke if you can avoid it. And that's why I think the bigger conversation here is not even about Kevin Hart. It's about the internet itself. It's about what happens when attention becomes more valuable than empathy. Because at some point, we have to ask ourselves, what are we actually rewarding? Are we rewarding comedy or are we rewarding shock value? And the internet don't always care about the difference. It just cares about the traffic. And that's why this type of stuff is going to keep happening until people stop rewarding it every single time. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe. Established Rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.